This is Ramu, Assistant Professor, Department of CSC, Institute of Aeronautical Engineering, Hyderabad. In today's class, we are going to consider storage classes. What is the meaning of storage classes? See, generally, classes means that we don't have any classes here. Generally, the classes are available in C++ and Java. But the storage classes is comes under the four categories of storage classes are available. It is a very, very important question in interview point of view. If you opt C as your favorite language in interview, they'll ask the question, what are the storage classes in C language? See, we have four storage classes in C language. The first one is the auto, extern, register, static. We'll see one by one. See, the first one, static. What is the meaning of static? What is the advantage of the static? See, among the four storage classes, static is very, very important. Even in the gate also, we may observe the 2 or 3 questions based on the static. The beauty of the static, it is going to assign value only once in their lifetime. I will tell you how it is going to assign. See, static is going to assign only once in their lifetime. What is the meaning of once in their lifetime? How it is? See, when you create a data type, for example, see, int a equal to 0, right? In function, right? In function. If you create a variable like this, then if you call 10 times this function, then it will create 10 variables, right? It will create 10 variables. Yes or no? If you call 10 times, it is going to create 10 variables. But please remember, when you use a static, then it is going to create only once in their lifetime. Means only one time it is going to create. One time it is going to create. I will explain the small program. Right? See, I'm going to take an example and I will explain. For example, here I'm going to take int function. In function. Right? Here, what I'm going to do, int function int a equal to 0, right? After that, a equal to a plus 1, and if you printf percentage d comma a, then what is the output here? See, if you call this function 3 times, then you will get the same output, right? Yes or no? Same output. See, observe carefully. If you run this code, if you run this code, 1 1 1 1, right? Why it is a 1 1 1 1? Means this is a local variable, right? When you create a local variable, please note this. When first time you will call, it create a one variable. What it is? A variable, right? With one address. And initially value is 0 and it is going to increment by 1. When you call a next time, again you create a one more variable. Again it is going to create a one more variable. Variable name is same. With that, value is 0 initially and 1. And it is going to create a one more variable. A, right? And so different address, right? And it is a different address. And 0 and 1. That is why 3 times you are getting the output is 1 1 1. If you use a static instead of this, observe clearly, if you use static, now observe the difference. 1 2 3. Have you observed? So how this static is going to work? Observe clearly. If you create a static, see, the first time it is going to create a variable, and the value is 1000 and 0, and the value is going to 1, right? And after that, when you call again means it comes to here, but the statement will never execute because the static variable is only one for the entire program. Please remember, when you call next time, it is going to directly execute this statement. Means already value is 1, this value is goes to 2. When call next time, again this value is goes to 3. That is why 1, 2, 3 is the output. Please use int a equal to 0, you are getting this answer. If you use a static int I equal to 0, then you're getting this answer. The reason is it is going to create only once in their lifetime. Entire lifetime it is going to create only once in their lifetime. Please remember, this is very, very important. The same bit they asked in the gate. They have given the two kinds of program, with static, without static, and ask you to identify what is the output of the snippet. And also in company placements also, most of the companies are going to consider the static, right? The remaining storage classes are there. Those are not much important. Only static is very, very important in the storage classes, right? That is why most of the companies are going to consider the static keyword, right? Is this clear? And coming to the next one, see, if you observe the auto means by default it is a local variable. By default it is a local variable. So what is the meaning of auto means? Observe clearly here. For example, function is there, right? Here you write int I equal to 0. By default here auto is there. Auto means it is a local variable. Please note this. It is a local variable. By default, local variables contains the keyword with the auto. Please remember, by default auto contains, so local variables contains a auto keyword. I will explain here. The program, if you observe the program, see here static is there, right? Instead of static you can use auto also. See, if you run this code, you get the same output, right? Auto, even if you use auto or without auto, you are getting the same output. Auto means it is a local variable. The representation of the local variable using the auto, right? There is no much importance because by default it is going to take a auto. If you declare a local variable, by default it is going to take a auto, right? And also you have one more variable, that is a extern. The name itself tells extern means if you are going to create a global variable. For example, see, int b is a global variable, right? If you run this code, you don't get any error, right? And if you want to represent the global variable, extern means it is a global variable. Please remember, extern means it is a global variable. That is why we didn't use any global variables, local variable representation. By default, the compiler is going to decide that if you declare a variable outside the function, then it is a global variable. When you declare a variable inside a function, there is a local variable. No need to mention the extern and auto, but the interview purpose you need to know that what is the auto. Auto means but it is a local variable. Extern means it is a global variable. Please remember these 2 points, right? And coming to the next one, register. Register means, please note this, generally you are going to store the variables values at the memory, but even you can use, that CPU registers contains some memory. If you want to store your data, your value at the CPU registers, then you can use your variable as register. When you use a register, then int a value address is that the space is used by the CPU register space. This is clear? CPU register space. See, if you run this code, we didn't get any change, but the memory is used at the CPU registers. Please note this. And I'm going to summarize here. I'm going to summarize with the four storage classes. Observe clearly. First one is a static. So automatic. Auto is a automatic. Please note that. Auto. We're going to use a auto. See, storage is memory, and the by default, please note this, the exam point of view, they may ask that what is the garbage value of auto. So what is the default value of auto means it is a garbage value. See, For the auto and register both have the garbage values. See, scope local to the block of in which the variable is defined means it is a local scope. Is a local scope. And life till the control remains within the block, right? Within the block means you create a variable here, then the block of the variable is up to this block only. Up to this block only. See, register. Here the only difference between the auto, static and extern, here it is going to use a CPU register. That is the only difference. The remaining all are same like your auto. Auto register both are same. Only the difference is memory usage. If you use a register, it can use CPU registers memory, right? And static, you know very well, static it is going to declare only once in their left hand. It is use a memory and by default value is 0. See, extern and static by default value is 1. And local to the scope. Scope is like as the same, but life value of the variable continues to exist between the different function calls. Different function calls also it maintains the same value. That is the difference. You call the function 3 times. The 3 times the value is passed to one function to another function, right? That is why only one time it is going to create. That is the main beauty of the static. If you use a static, it is going to create once in their lifetime. Coming to external, it is purely opposite of the auto. See, it is a local, right? It is a global. And till the program's execution does not comes to an end, right? Until program ends, it is going to continue. Please note this. The mainly asked questions here, storage classes. What are the storage classes in C language? First question. And how static works? And second, they are going to consider what are the default values of the auto, register, static, and extra. Right? These are the things they are going to concentrate. Right? Is this clear? Okay. So, thank you. Thank you very much.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.